Go into the world and tell every man that you meet, there is a man on the cross.
A Catholic Take. What you need to know right now. A bold synthesis of inspiration and information. Keeping you up to date on the news and issues from a courageous Catholic perspective.
A Catholic Take with Joe McLean starts now.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McLean. It is good to be on with you. Praise be to God. Hey, today we're going to be getting into Gaza again today at 14 past the hour with Jason Jones from the Vulnerable People Project. It would seem that there is a report from the Holy Family Parish's priest that Israel has issued an evacuation order. Everybody's got to go. Everyone has to go. Leave this city. Well, they've also reached a deal with Hamas, so we're going to figure out how all of that plays into this at 14 past the hour with Jason Jones, the patriarch there, saying Satan wants to rule where Jesus lives. We're going to link to it and cover everything for you with Jason Jones at 14 past the hour. Also, we're looking at the first 100 days of Pope Leo XIV. What's good? What's bad? What's interesting? What are we not sure of still? We're going to have Matt Gaspers on the team. He's got the podcast Veritatis Vox. He's going to be on to cover of the first 100 days. We're going to be talking a little bit about the SSPX as well, all at 30 past the hour. We'll link to all of the stories for you over at thestationofthecross.com/ACT. Should be good. Plus the after show and whatever you want to talk about is also on the agenda. So hang out with us and let's pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thine intercession was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly unto thee, O Virgin of Virgins, my mother. To thee do I come, before thee I stand sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of the Word incarnate, despise not my petitions, but in thy mercy hear and answer me. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and now your saint of the day.
Saint John Eudes, pray for us. John was born in France in the year of our Lord 1601. He took a vow of chastity at the age of 14 and studied under the Jesuits before becoming a priest of the French Oratorians. He displayed great courage in tending to victims of severe plague outbreaks. John then began to earn renown as a missionary throughout France. Contemporary saints like Vincent de Paul hailed John as one of the great preachers of the age. John also founded seminaries, an order of nuns dedicated to aiding reformed women, and the Congregation of Jesus and Mary, known as the Eudists. John is best known for promoting devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. He was responsible for compiling the first Masses in honor of the two hearts, and he erected many confraternities of the Sacred Heart throughout the French seminaries. Before John was even beatified, Pope Leo XIII declared him author of the liturgical worship of the Sacred Heart of Jesus and Holy Heart of Mary. John died in France in the year of our Lord 1680, after over 50 years of priestly service. For more about this day and others in the Church's calendar, visit thestationofthecross.com/saintsandseasons. Saint John Eudes, pray for us.
And now your headline news. Just the News reports evacuation order issued for North Carolina's Outer Banks. A mandatory evacuation order was issued yesterday for parts of North Carolina's Outer Banks as Hurricane Erin approaches the Atlantic seaboard. The order includes a state of emergency for all Dare County. Flooding and ocean overwash are expected to begin as early as today and continue through Thursday. Catholic News Agency reports Swedish Cardinal clarifies SSPX status after unauthorized visit. Cardinal Anders Aberelius has responded to controversy following Episcopal acts performed in the Diocese of Stockholm by the Bishop Bernard Fillet, former Superior General to the SSPX. According to the official clarification, no other bishop may perform ecclesial acts in the diocese without his permission, as required by canon law and the directives of the Holy See. Sacraments received from priests of the SSPX were described as valid but illicit, and the faithful were urged to avoid them. The Vatican has, however, included a pilgrimage by the SSPX on its official calendar for the 2025 Jubilee year. More on that at 30 past the hour. And Catholic Vote reports Hamas reportedly accepts ceasefire deal. Hamas has reportedly accepted a Qatari and Egyptian brokered ceasefire and hostage exchange deal with Israel. The deal would halt fighting in Gaza for 60 days and require Hamas to free 10 living hostages, along with the remains of 18 others who died in captivity. In return, Israel would release an unspecified number of Palestinian prisoners. And those are your headline news. The gospel today comes to us from Matthew chapter 19, verses 23 through 30. Jesus said to his disciples, "Amen, I say to you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again, I say to you, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven." And when they had heard this, the disciples wondered very much, saying, "Who then can be saved?" And Jesus, beholding, said to them, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Then Peter answering said, "Behold, we have left all things and have followed thee. What therefore shall we have?" And Jesus said to them, "Amen, I say to you, that you who have followed me in the regeneration, the Son of Man shall sit on the seat of his majesty. You also shall sit on 12 seats, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And every one that hath left house, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall possess life everlasting. And many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first." The Gospel of the Lord. Laus tibi Christi. St. Chrysostom would say, what he spoke was not condemning riches in themselves, but those who were enslaved by them, also encouraging his disciples that being poor, they should not be ashamed by reason of their poverty. St. Jerome would say, according to this, no rich man can be saved. But if we read Isaiah, how the camels of Midian and Ephah came to Jerusalem with gifts and presents, and they who once were crooked and bowed down by the weight of their sins enter the gates of Jerusalem, we shall see how these camels, to which the rich are likened, when they have laid aside the heavy load of sins and the distortion of their whole bodies, may then enter by the narrow and straight way that leads to life. Do not we observe with how great affection we love what we already have, and how earnestly we search after what we have not? Is it on this account that St. Peter and his brother, St. Andrew, left much because they denied themselves even the desire and inclination of possessing anything, according to St. Gregory? It is the opinion of many of the fathers, St. Jerome, St. Austin, St. Gregory, and others, that all apostolical men, i.e., such as renouncing the goods of this life, adhere to Christ in mind and affection, and by every possible means promote his reign and the propagation of his gospel, will be so far honored as to sit in judgment with him at the general resurrection. The great commentary of Cornelius a Lapide would say, the words first and last, as applying strictly and literally to eternal life. In this manner, rich men who are here below have led an honest but comfortable life, keeping only the precepts of God. In heaven shall be the last. But the poor men, who to the precepts have added evangelical counsels, and in poverty have followed Christ in preaching the gospel, shall be the first in heaven. I have said more about this in the following chapter. The meaning will be more ample with a more complete application to all that is said in the parable which follows. If you take last in both ways, vis-a-vis, as signifying those who are to be excluded from heaven, as well as those who are last in heaven. For the apostles, who first shall judge the 12 tribes of Israel, as it were the last, shall award to many of them as being just the kingdom of heaven, and to many as being unjust, hell. Moreover, this sentence, many that are first shall be last, and the last first, Christ explains by the subsequent parable of the laborers. This sentence is, as it were, the pro-parable, i.e., the title and argument of that parable, to which is annexed the post-parable, as it were, the scope and application of the parable. Thus, the last shall be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few chosen. Whence it is plain that the post-parable exactly corresponds to the pro-parable, indeed, that it is one of the same thing. The first, therefore, are called the chosen, or the elect, but the called only, not the elect, are called the last. You got to choose wisely, right? When you reach the gates, are you prepared? Are you ready to pass through those gates into heaven itself? How do we pass from this to that? Through baptism, of course. How do we make sure that we get there? Through the sacraments, through confession and the Holy Eucharist. So you must lay aside your burden of sin so that, like the camel, you too can pass through that eye, that needle. But with sin, you will be too burdened down and you will not make it. So pray, fast, and confess. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Did you know you can help evangelize simply by using your cell phone? The Station of the Cross is partnering with iCatholic Mobile, America's only Catholic mobile phone company. When you join iCatholic Mobile, a portion of every dollar will support our programming. Plus, you'll enjoy great service with iCatholic Unlimited 5G data, text, and talk. With iCatholic Mobile, you can stay connected with family and friends while also spreading the truth of Jesus Christ with clarity and charity. Join today at iCatholicMobile.com.
There's a story out from Gaza. Israel issues evacuation order for Holy Family Parish's Gaza City neighborhood. They're kicking everybody out. That's the report. And for that, we always turn to Jason Jones from the Vulnerable People Project because he's got people on the ground there. And he joins us this morning. Jason, good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, sir.
So what is the latest from Gaza right now?
Well, I don't know if you saw this week, we had a warehouse where we were staging almost 5,000 cans of baby formula, tons of food and cooking material. And our warehouse was obliterated by the IDF. They dropped a bomb on it and vaporized our warehouse. We lost 2 employees. That was this week. And we've been able to now for the past 2 weeks, we've been able to start getting food to the churches again. But as of this morning, there's so much violence. There's so much, it's just too dangerous for us to go to the churches today. In fact, today we were going to send a musical act and clowns and provide hot meals and ice pops to St. Porphyrius Church, the Greek Orthodox Church. And we're also bringing food and ice pops to the Catholic Church, Holy Family Catholic Church. But just this morning, the first thing my logistics partner said, it's too dangerous, so we're not going to be able to get to the churches again today.
God have mercy. I'm sorry for the loss of those lives. That's another story that's out. The UN is saying that out of all the lives of aid workers around the world that have died, at least half are just in Gaza alone. The world isn't saying anything about that.
No, it's startling. Actually, I think 105 aid workers died last week. Yeah,
last week.
Wow. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and you can look at, for example, when the IDF attacked. Well, and I don't know if our warehouse was targeted or if it was a mistake. But here's what I know. We had that warehouse there for about 3 months, and we just moved everything into the warehouse to begin distributing the baby formula a couple of days ago. And, a day after we moved into position and began to stage our baby formula for distribution, Israel bombed the warehouse. What I do know is they knew what was on our trucks. They approved it. They knew where our truck was going. Our truck gets there and then unloads, and then within 24 hours, our house is flattened. And so I have to assume this was intentional.
Yeah,
or they're really
it feels that way.
inept.
So you have to go to the Israeli government to get approval to do this.
Yeah.
You have to have. Do they inspect your warehouse? Do they inspect your truck, your crews? Do they look at background checks of the people you have working for you to distribute this aid? I mean, how does that all work?
Yeah, so because I am spoken in an NPR story this week, it was a bit startling that the journalist in the NPR story asked Israel about bombing our warehouse. And they said, we know this organization very well, the Vulnerable People Project, but we don't know if we bombed their warehouse. That's not something we know that we did or didn't do. We don't know. But it was a bit startling that, the spokesperson right off the bat knew who we were. So they know we work with a series of logistics companies because I am so outspoken. I don't want to get shut down. So I have a lot of different logistics partners, but all of these logistics partners are vetted and approved. And it's not easy. This is the hardest place in the world. Look, what Vulnerable People Project does really well is get people and food in and out of places other people can't get people and food in and out of. And this has been by far the most challenging. By far, even in the early days of the invasion of Ukraine, we rescued people behind Russia's lines. That was easier than trying to get a consistent stream of food into Gaza. Yeah.
Oh,
so much so that people don't believe us. I mean, you'll see under the comments, we videotape every single food distribution.
We're having some internet technical difficulties with Jason. Your internet's breaking up a little bit. I can't believe how difficult this is and how painful and sacrificial this of a project this is just to feed people. One of the stories that I really want to try to better understand is Israel. There was a report yesterday that said Israel wants to clear out the city. I don't know where these people are supposed to go, but they're supposed to leave. Now today we're hearing that a deal might have been reached with Hamas through Qatar and Egypt for a prisoner exchange. Do you think this is going to bring an end to hostilities? Are the people of Gaza going to get to move back in, or are they having to leave?
Well, I mean, the whole northern Gaza, we believe, will be ethnically cleansed. Israel and the United States, they both have been talking out of both sides of their mouth, where they'll say, we are going to remove 2 million people. We are going to starve them. We are going to bomb them. We will not differentiate between civilians. Then they do that, and then the whole world witnesses it. And then they say, we would never do that. We have no intention of doing that. When they clearly state again and again and again, we're going to send them to Libya. We're going to send them to Sudan. I mean, could you think of worst possible ideas? They'll say, why doesn't Egypt just take 2 million people? Why don't we just let people stay where they're from? I mean, These Christian communities in Gaza are literally the oldest consistent Christian communities in the history of the world. I mean, it would be impossible to be older, seeing that they have been there since the first century. And the families that go to these churches in Gaza are the descendants of the very first Christians, the families that were in the upper room, for example. So the idea that they should be picked up and moved somewhere, that is the literal definition of ethnic cleansing. Now, it's not genocide. Genocide is the intent to remove them from the planet. But ethnic cleansing is removing them from where they were from and where they live presently. I don't think the power is with American conservatives and with the Israeli people. And now just this week, hundreds of thousands of Israelis have taken to the street demanding this war come to an end. I think it's very important for those of us. I'm speaking for myself. I am a conservative Catholic. I am a Republican. I've been involved with the Republican Party since I was a teenage boy as chairman of the College Republicans and Young Republicans. I worked on presidential campaigns. I know people in the administration. Those of us who have influence with this administration really need to leverage it and really force the issue on this, on a ceasefire, because this is a grave scandal.
How informed do you think President Trump is to the actual issues? Like, as you've just described them, it seems like most Republicans are just kind of the Ted Cruz dispensationalist category. Donald Trump received a lot of money during his campaign from special interest groups to support Israel. And it sounds like he's trying to make good on that promise. But how informed is he to these issues?
I know I shouldn't probably share this, but in 2016, a friend of mine was miking then Mr. Trump, this was before he was president, up for a speech at a conservative event. And his aides were telling him to make sure that he let the crowd know how committed he was to Israel's security. And at the time, President Trump, my friend, reported back to me, said, why would I do that? I thought you said these were evangelicals. And they said, trust me, Mr. Trump, you want to let the evangelicals know that you really are committed to Israel's security. And he shrugged, laughed, and said, I got it. And he went on stage. I was in the audience, and he said, I just want everyone to know that there's nobody in this room that loves Israel more than I do. And that throwaway line got him a 10-minute standing ovation. So he's a smart guy. He's politically savvy. He's surrounded by people like Mike Huckabee, who are religiously Zionists. And then there are people like Marco Rubio, who are just ambitious and know where power lies. So I would never expect Marco Rubio to stand up to the state of Israel, because he has ambitions, and the Israeli lobby is key to those ambitions. And then Mike Huckabee, he's a very kind, good man. I know him, but this tells you this. He's an example of how dangerous theology reduced to ideology is. He's insulted the countries of Ireland. He tweeted out at Ireland that they're a bunch of drunks, that they should sober up, because Ireland sought to sanction companies that did business with Israeli settlers who were literally at that time attacking and killing Catholics in Teba and the West Bank. And Huckabee jumped to X to defend the settlers who were brutalizing Christians. And then Mike Smith, the Speaker of the House, another Christian Zionist, goes to the West Bank and tells the settlers that are attacking our co-religionists, our fellow Catholics and Orthodox apostolic Christians, who the communities go back to the first century. Mike Johnson goes to the West Bank and tells the settlers, keep it up. That's your land. That's your land. The land that he was throwing away belongs to Catholics. Catholic families that descend from the Jews that accepted Jesus Christ in the first century. Amen. And knit together the church in its very earliest days.
But where's the pressure? Where's the pressure from this administration to apply to Benjamin Netanyahu to say, you shouldn't be bombing warehouses full of food, trying to feed the people in Gaza? Like, where is that pressure? It feels more like turn the other cheek and ignore it than it does feel like, hey, what you just did was inappropriate and wrong for a number of reasons, and it can't be tolerated anymore.
Yeah, well, I think they're responding to power and pressure. And you have the evangelical Christians and you have the Israeli lobby. And then where are we as Catholics? I mean, where were we, not to get sanctimonious, but where were we when ISIS was raiding its way across the Levant and erasing the oldest Christian communities, going back to St. Thomas in the first century in Syria and Iraq? We were silent. 9 out of 10 Christians will be martyred. In Nigeria, we're a bit silent. 15 Catholic bishops disappeared by the CCP. We're silent, and there are no powerful special interests cheering on Boko Haram in Nigeria. We don't have the Speaker of the House going and cheering on Boko Haram. So, we as Catholics are really conservative Catholics. Especially if you're in a state like Pennsylvania or Michigan, you need to let it be known that any one of these members of Trump's cabinet, anyone who hopes to get our vote, must be an early and clear advocate for a ceasefire. And we will never support anyone that supports ethnically cleansing our co-religionists from their homes. And I find it a bit ignoble and embarrassing that we as Catholics, especially Catholics who are involved in the political life of our country, men like Marco Rubio, seem to be utterly impotent and lack courage and refuse. They will not stand up for our fellow Catholics who are being brutalized. Right now in the West Bank, Catholics are being slaughtered. Their homes are being stolen. In Gaza, the oldest Christian community in the world is being starved, shot, and bombed. And where are we? We American Catholics are the ones that are the most influential in this right now, along with the Israeli people. The Israelis are standing up. We need to stand up too.
Amen. VulnerablePeopleProject.com. Boots on the ground, feeding the people in places that we don't want to go. They go. VulnerablePeopleProject.com. Jason Jones, it's always an honor to have you on the show. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, brother. God bless.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClain, and here are your headline news. The Blaze reports Zelensky inches closer to deal ahead of Trump-Russia-Ukraine summit. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has told reporters that he's open to certain concessions in order to achieve peace with Russia, despite rejecting the ideas in the past. The Ukrainian leader said he would be open to land swaps in order to reach a peace deal with Russia, but rejected the idea that he should have to give up Donetsk. Breitbart reports Trump to sign executive order outlawing mail-in ballots. President Trump released a statement yesterday morning announcing he will sign an executive order outlawing mail-in ballots nationwide. He is also targeting voting machines that leave no paper trail to back them up. And Ground News reports a record 383 aid workers were killed in global hotspots in 2024, nearly half of them just in Gaza alone. The provisional data show that as of August the 14th, 265 aid workers have been killed so far just this year, with 245 major attacks in the past 7 months, according to the Aid Worker Security Database. Calling for accountability, UN Emergency Relief Coordinator Tom Fletcher said, quote, violence against aid workers is not inevitable. It must end, and called zero accountability a shameful indictment of international apathy, close quote. And those are your headline news. Praise be to God in all things. I'm going to be linking to a series of articles today for you over in the show notes, one of which is a 100 Days of Leo XIV by Rorate Caeli blog. There's also a Pillar article on his potential curial appointments. It's all speculation at this point, but it's an interesting and detailed article. Plus, I've got this new article. Leo XIV puts a stop to the Pachamama. Nature must neither be idolized nor endured as slaves. I love that article. It's a great article. I'm going to put a link to that. Plus, there's an article out of the Swedish Cardinal clarifying the SSPX status. But joining us to talk about all of this and much, much more is the host of the Veritatis Vox podcast, Matt Gaspers. Matt, welcome to the show. Good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Joe. It's good to be back, as always.
Praise be to God. Let's talk about the first 100 days of Pope Leo XIV. You know, I got to say, the one thing I do like is a restoring of calmness from the huge upheaval of the last 12, 13 years, restoring a bit of the dignity of the office of the pontificate. How do you see that from that perspective?
Yeah, it certainly has been a nice change of tone and aesthetics. I guess I'm still kind of uncertain as to whether or not it's the prelude to something really great coming, or if we're just in the eye of the storm right now, so to speak.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, somebody posted on X the other day that they saw great things coming. They said, "Mark my words, he's going to do these great things." And I responded by saying, "I want to believe. I do. Right. I want to be on that team." But every day that goes by, I fear that the chances of that happening are actually going down and not up. But I mean, I want to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I'd be so grateful to say I was so wrong about that. I'm just not sure that it's gonna come out that way. There's some good. There's some we're not so sure, right?
Well, you mentioned the Rorate Caeli article, which you sent to me, and I read that last night. And what really stuck out to me is the following from that article. The author says, "Prevost is not Bergoglio," and I do agree with that in several ways, like certainly personality-wise and maybe liturgical taste-wise. So it says, Prevost is not Bergoglio, and of course he is not the anti-Bergoglio either, which I also think is true, and I'll explain in a moment. At the same time, Leo XIV seems inclined to take up some issues dear to Francis, from the ecological question to migrants to synodality. I did a show on my channel about the synodality issue with Michael Hines from LifeSite. I know you have him on occasionally. This article goes on, but the antiphon at least suggests or gives us hope, ! That he could also recalculate them, these issues, like a navigator in a more Christocentric direction. That's also an article I've heard, or an argument rather, that I've heard other people make, without turning them into mantras and repositioning them in a different light from the predominantly socio-political, not to say ideological one, that increasingly characterized his predecessor's pontificate, end quote. But I guess my root question or my root concern remains, and it goes back to the address that he gave to the College of Cardinals on May 10th. I think it was day 3 of his pontificate, during which he said, "I would like us to renew together our complete commitment to the path that the Universal Church has now followed for decades in the wake of the Second Vatican Council." This is Pope Leo XIV, day 3 of his pontificate. He went on to say, "Pope Francis masterfully and concretely set it forth in the apostolic exhortation Evangelii Gaudium." And then he highlighted several fundamental points from that document, which has some major problems with it, including on the issue of Francis didn't call it Christian Zionism, but it's clearly in there, that the old covenant is still valid and the Jews are still the chosen people and all of that kind of stuff. So that statement from Pope Leo still lingers in my mind and is very concerning to me.
Yeah, it's like I said at the beginning of the conversation, there's some unknown here that we're just not sure. And at this point, that's one of the issues too, is just the pure speculation of it all. We had hoped he'd come back from Castel Gandolfo, which was nice to see him go back to Castel Gandolfo. I thought that was great that he did that. Praise be to God. But we had hoped we would start to see some curial appointments, and we haven't received those yet. In fact, when I get into the Pillars article, the Pillar is also speculating. Everybody's just speculating at this point. That's all we have to go on. So take it with a huge grain of salt, right? But when the Pillar starts to speculate on which appointments are going to be looked at, and even the potential of who might be chosen for those appointments, I got to tell you, it didn't give me a lot of confidence. I didn't love a lot of the names that the Pillar is pointing out. I mean, Tobin is on that list. What? No, Tobin does not need a job. Tobin needs retirement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the three main curial appointments that I think will be kind of they will define his pontificate in some ways, will be who heads the doctrinal office, the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, who heads the dicastery for worship, which is currently still being led by Cardinal Arthur Roach, the arch enemy of the traditional Latin Mass. And we should also say the DDF, the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, is still being led by Cardinal Fernandez, who is still claiming that fiducia supplicans is basically irreformable. As I understand it, that's what he's claiming, and it's here to stay, something to that effect. And then, on the temporal side of things, the Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, someone who, like Cardinal Joseph Tobin, was named by Archbishop Vigano in his original testimony in August of 2018 as being part of this so-called homosexual current in the Roman Curia. And I also read recently this article on Substack. I think I sent it to you by, who is this person? Mrs. Calloway.
Yeah, Beth
I forget
Calloway.
Her full name, but
Beth Calloway.
Coming Out in the Vatican, which is Beth Calloway, about basically a review of the research put into this book called In the Closet of the Vatican: Power, Homosexuality, and Hypocrisy. So that problem of clerical sodomy still seems to be a major issue in the Curia. And I don't know if Leo is the man who's going to actually deal with it in a definitive manner.
It kind of reminds me of something Father Charles Murrah often says. By the way, we should continue to pray for him. He had pneumonia recently. We tried to get him on the show, so we're going to continue to pray for his health. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Mm-hmm. But something he said it to me a number of times, because I just still scratch my head. I don't understand how all this works. Like, if you were to believe that article, which I will link to today as well, by Dr. Martell, and it's a few years old now. It's not new. This book, In the Closet of the Vatican: Power, Homosexuality, and Hypocrisy. It's an old book. It's a new article based on an old book, but nonetheless, it talks about 80%. It speculates up to 80% of the Curia is either tolerating homosexuals or participating in it, one of the two. And it's like
I've heard that same figure from. I've heard that same figure from other reliable, trustworthy sources, people I know who have inside knowledge. So,
whatever the number is, it's high. I don't know what it is, but whatever that number is, it's high. I'm not sure Dr. Martell has the right number, but whatever it is, it's a high number. It's too high of a number. It's not tolerable, whatever the number is. But I would always ask Father Murr, how is this possible? Why don't they just clean the house? And he's like, that's not how it happens. The Vatican is such a bureaucracy, such a machine, that these popes, although they may be personally good men, they will not come in and just clean house. It's just not how business is conducted there. And from an outsider's perspective, that just seems absolutely bizarre. It feels like, the Pope wields the keys, does he not? Does he not have the power to clean this up? Why wouldn't they choose to clean these things up? Father Murr would even talk about how he thought, John the 23rd was a good man. Paul the Sixth, JP1, JP2, Benedict, they're good men, but they just weren't going to, sometimes the toilet needs cleaning and they weren't going to do it.
Well, I think it's called the Lavender Mafia for a reason. I think they're men who are very intent on continuing their lifestyle, to put it politely, and they don't want any interference. I mean, I think there would be some harsh repercussions potentially, and I also, I based on the evidence that I've read about, I think, and Father Murr details, I think, some of this in his in one of his books, Murder in the 33rd Degree, that if you challenge those men, those power brokers in the Vatican, there could be lethal consequences, as there seem to have been for John Paul I. So,
okay, so is Leo the kind of guy?
I'm not saying that's an excuse. I think they should be willing to do, but it's going to take a man who's willing to be who's willing to be a martyr in order to do what's necessary.
I think to some degree, the Pope probably, these men, they probably recognize this issue. Benedict obviously recognized this issue. He said as much on a couple of occasions towards the end of his pontificate. He talked about being surrounded by it all. Okay, great. But is he just so isolated? Is his power so removed that he can do nothing? And at the end of the day, that's one of my biggest fears for Leo XIV. I fear that I would love the guy, that if he were sitting here, I would really enjoy talking to him, that I would really appreciate him and have a great conversation with him. But I fear that he wouldn't have the courage to do the hard bit that needs to get done, just like Benedict didn't have that, just like JP2 didn't have that, just like JP1, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. At what point does that get done? Or is it just a matter of that we, like the Lord, have to endure all of this with grace and humility until the end?
Yeah, that's a good question. I suppose we'll find out in the coming years, because Leo's going to be with us, a long time, presumably for quite a while. So I'm sure we'll find the answers to those questions. So that's kind of on the administrative side of things, but also, on the doctrinal side of things, as I said, I'm still concerned that I would still like to know, and I'm sure we'll find out over time, if there's a substantial difference when it comes to doctrine between Leo and Francis, because, there are indications that he is in some of the statements that he's made, and maybe we'll see what he chooses to write about in his first encyclical. But I don't know if there is a substantial difference between the two of them or not. And he's clearly a big fan of, as I quoted, the path that the church has been on since Vatican II. And that's also very concerning to me, because that path has led to the church's auto demolition, to quote Paul VI, so it's not a good path to continue on. We need to get back to the path of restoration and tradition, in my opinion.
I want to just quote this statement he made yesterday. I like the headline from Solari here. It says, Leo XIV puts a stop to the Pachamama. I mean, I think that's a great headline. I would love to see that actually. I mean, there needs to be acts of reparation made in those gardens, but nonetheless, it says, he's quoting here, I'm quoting Leo here, no less evident is the right and duty to care for the home that God the Father has entrusted to us as attentive stewards, so that no one may irresponsibly destroy the natural goods that speak of the Creator's goodness and beauty, nor much less submit to them as a slave or a worshiper of nature, kind of like when they were bowing down to that piece of wood, the pagan idol Pachamama in the Vatican gardens. But it goes on, quote, it is not therefore a rejection of the care of creation, but rather a reminder not to confuse the plains. The Amazon rainforest, its rivers, the peoples who inhabit it, all are a part of a design that does not find its meaning in itself, but in Christ, in whom all things are brought together, Ephesians 1:10. In this light, Leo XIV urges the bishops of the Amazon never to lose sight of the primacy of proclaiming Jesus Christ, the only one capable of redeeming man from injustice and oppression. Wherever the name of Christ is preached, the telegram recalls, injustice recedes in proportion, close quote. And that's a great statement, praise be to God. And I think it just illustrates what we're talking about in the last segment about that. Like, he's doing some things really well, and I'm very encouraged by, I find very hopeful, moving in the right direction, slower than I'd like, but still moving in that direction. And then to your point, other things, we're still like, we're just not sure. Is it a case that he intends to correct the errors of like the Francis pontificate just subtly and slowly?
Yeah, which I really don't think is adequate. And Bishop Athanasius Schneider has spoken to this issue before as well. And I think I asked him about this when I had him on my podcast back in May, just a few days after the election of Leo XIV. And he said it on other podcasts that the Pope needs to issue formal corrections of his predecessor's grievous errors. I mean, we can call them heresies, even if, Pope Francis was not a formal heretic. What some of the things that he said are, objectively speaking, heretical, and they have to be corrected specifically, explicitly, formally. It's not enough to have these little implications or innuendos. That's not gonna cut it. And also, I did a podcast on my channel, Veritatis Vox, with my friend Ryan Grant, who's a publisher at Mediatrix Press. He does a lot of translations of Bellarmine and other great doctors and saints of the church. And the name of the podcast is Quo Vadis Leo? A sober assessment. And in that podcast, Ryan presented an article. I forget the name of it, but it shows evidence that Leo himself has said we need more priests like Pope Francis. So again, it's so hard to know with Leo. There are positive indications, but then there are also concerning things, sure, and yeah. I think it's just going to take time to get to the bottom of it, I guess. Personally, to connect this discussion with your previous segment with our mutual friend Jason Jones, LifeSite reprinted recently an excellent article written by Dr. Matthew Sakanikis, who teaches at Christendom College. And it says, Pope Leo needs to reaffirm that the church is the true Israel of God. Amen. In my opinion, that is becoming one of the defining issues of our times, this issue of the Christian Zionist heresy. And it needs to be addressed in a magisterial manner by the Pope and the bishops. That is a very pressing matter, not only because of its spiritual dangers, but also, as Jason has described, it's terrorizing and decimating the people of Gaza, and it needs to stop. Yeah, Christians need to stop supporting this heresy.
Amen. Matthew Sakanikis is going to be back on the show tomorrow, as a matter of fact, to follow up on the conversation we had with him. I think it was a week before last, praise be to God. And I would agree. Wouldn't it be amazing to see that in his encyclical, which we don't even know what's going to be in the encyclical at this point. We're still all speculating. What will he write for his first encyclical? I doubt it's going to be that, but boy, would it be amazing if it was that, especially given that there was an article I'm linking to today as well. Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem says Satan wants to rule where Jesus lived. I just ruminate on that. Take that in for a moment. Let that just settle in your mind that the Patriarch of Jerusalem, peace of Allah, is saying that Satan wants to rule there. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing there. That's an incredibly strong statement from the Patriarch of Jerusalem, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem. Which is part of the reason why I was rooting for him to come out on that logia from the conclave. But yes, God's will be done in all things. Before we run out of time, though, I do want to get to the SSPX. They're back in the news right now. The Swedish Cardinal clarifies Society of St. Pius X status after unauthorized visit. We're linking to that in the show notes today. So let's talk about the SSPX. They're being listed as a part of the official Jubilee in Rome. This is not the first time that's happened. Praise be to God. I think the last Jubilee, they were also listed. So this is good news. This is a good step for trying to find ways to reconcile the society with the church, wouldn't you say? But the Swedish bishop's not happy.
Yeah, there's something going on where Bishop Fillet was performing episcopal functions in his diocese, and he got a bee in his bonnet about that or something like that. But I mean, my question for the cardinal and just for anyone who is opposed adamantly to the Society of St. Pius X, what exactly do they need to do in order to be in what people, including popes, have said full communion? I think I discussed this in an article that you interviewed me about a couple years ago when I provided some exclusive details from the Archdiocese of Kansas City. They commented on the SSPX in light of the Immaculata Church consecration ceremony back in May of 2023. And I end that article by asking, what are Catholics to make of the familiar claim repeated by the Archdiocese of Kansas City that the SSPX are not currently in full communion with the Catholic Church? Because according to the current Code of Canon Law, 1983, here's what it says regarding communion. Those baptized are fully in the communion of the Catholic Church on this earth, who are joined with Christ in its visible structure by the bonds of the profession of faith, the sacraments, and ecclesiastical governance. Well, the members of the SSPX clearly profess the same faith and share in the same sacraments as the Catholic Church. They're Catholics. They also have habitual faculties to absolve sins from Pope Francis, who likewise authorized local ordinaries the possibility to grant faculties to witness marriages, and really taking for granted that those same nuptial masses will be celebrated by an SSPX priest. So obviously it's okay for them to celebrate public masses by implication. So what exactly does the SSPX need to do in order to meet that canonical criteria for full communion that they don't already have? So in other words, why are they denied a canonical status in the church? I don't understand it.
Politics, probably, but it's the debate over Vatican II and the documents of Vatican II, I would say, is the primary driver, no?
I would assume so, but that's also confusing to me because, as I understand it, the society actually accepts the lion's share, the vast majority of what the Vatican II documents say. They have objections to a handful of things in the documents that are not even definitive, irreformable statements from the council. So what is the big deal? I guess I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, they accept all dogmatic proclamations of Vatican II. How many were there again? One more time? I forget. Yeah, there was zero dogmatic proclamations. At any rate, that music means we're out of time. I'm going to encourage everybody to check out the Veritatis Vox podcast. You can find it on YouTube. Just look for Matt Gaspers, but we're going to put a link to it directly in the show notes for you today. Matt, great to have you back on the team. Thanks for getting up early and being on the show. Praise be to God. We'll link to everything else. And Matthew Sakanikas, Dr. Sakanikas, is back tomorrow morning. We'll see you there. God love you and God bless you.
And we're back. Welcome to the After Show, everyone.
Good morning to you, James. Good morning, Damon. Good morning, Gus. Good morning, Rebecca. Good morning. Praise be to God. Good to see you guys here. Paul, our friend from Buffalo. Jeff Burrier, be assured of our prayers, my brother. Damon, again, good morning to you. Liz, Finch, Yvonne, good morning. Nick, the mic, good morning to you. Eileen, good morning. Yvonne, praise be to God. Good to see you guys here. What is your opinion? What are we talking about? I think they want to kill them because they don't let them live. talking about Israel and Gaza. It's such a hot mess, isn't it? It's such a hot mess. Can that even be sorted out? Only with God. Beyond that, it's impossible. Jen Nugent says, good morning. So happy the power came back on in the 100-degree weather. We lost power on Saturday for like 5 hours.
Oof.
Yeah, we had a storm. I was on a Zoom call, and the storm came overhead, and I was hearing crackling in my ear. I'm like, oh, gotta go. And it literally died like right there. Just going through the comments. Praise be to God. Good morning, everybody. Oh, I don't know why today feels more like a Monday to me than yesterday does. Yesterday it wasn't as bad, but today my mind, the cobwebs are just like, it feels like a Monday to me. Flying Tigers, good morning to you, my friend. Alberto, Nathaniel, good morning. Susie, good morning to you. Maclay, good morning. Douglas Remikius, you are amazing. Viva Cristo Rey, brother. Thank you for being on the team. Good morning to you, Stephen. Robert Roach, good morning. Praise be to God. Robert, thank you and good morning. Appreciate having you on the team today. Come to Melbourne, Australia. It was 0 degrees this morning.
Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Yeah, right. I was going to ask, like, what's the measuring system we're using down there? 0. See, either way, that sounds cold. It's got to be cold, right? Because it's winter in Australia right now because we're in different hemispheres.
Yeah.
How cold does it get actually in Australia, though? Do you guys get snow in Australia?
The continent's like 1 million miles wide, so there's probably a wide range of climates.
I bet so. But do you get snow there? Does it snow anywhere in Australia? Memento, good morning to you. Joe, do you think Pope Leo or any future popes will bring back the papal tiara and the what? How do I say that?
Is it
Jake?
the Sedia Gestatoria? I'm just guessing.
Thank you. I was like, Gestatoria. That sounds like some sort of like some intestinal thing. What is the Sedia?
And the answer is 2 popes from now.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah, don't 2 popes from now.
Don't be sucked in.
Won't happen this time, and it probably won't happen when Cardinal Frank Leo of Toronto is elected Pope. It'll probably be the one after Cardinal Frank Leo.
How old is Cardinal Frank Leo?
If Pope Leo has a 20-year pontificate, Cardinal Frank Leo will be about the age that Pope Leo is now. So
he's young.
Very young.
Smokes.
Oh yeah, he's in his 50s, early 50s.
Super young. Oh, then forget it. How's he eat? Does he have sugar every day?
Oh, he must to be so based.
Carbs. He's probably eating carbs up. He's not going to last. Don't worry about it.
He's one of those. He's going to
pray
live
for him because he might not live long enough to get there. In his 50s, he might even have a heart attack.
He's got a funny. He sounds a bit like a New York Italian. He's got Italian heritage. It's great. Yeah, he's got a fun accent, but it's like Canadian.
He's from Toronto.
But I can't remember if he's born in Toronto or. Let me look him up.
What is a Sedia Gestatoria, by the way?
That's the chair he gets carried around in.
Ah, got it. Do I think they'll come back? I want them to. Does that count? Do I think they will? I don't know. You're going to have a guy who just doesn't care about what you think about him. In the way that Francis doesn't care. Francis didn't care what you thought about him, but on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? You're going to need a guy who's like, you know what? I don't care that you don't.
Yeah,
like
but that's caring what people thought about him. He didn't want to be thought of as the guy who, wears the fussy things. I'm not fussy. No, don't make me wear that. The carnival's over. That's caring what people think of him.
I know, but I need a guy.
He cared very much that people thought of him as, different, more humble, because he wore those things,
Yeah, he went out of it. You're right. He did go out of his way to make sure that everybody saw him as humble.
Yes.
And he went to the point to make sure that he had professional pictures taken of him, being very humble.
Adopting what your predecessors did is, that's the sign of humility. You're submitting to the office.
Can I just say that, like right now on X, there's like, I forget her name now. I actually interviewed her. She's a lovely lady. Nothing personal about her, what I'm about to say. But she's the lady from England who gets arrested for praying silently. And she keeps posing for these pictures of her praying silently. And I just feel so cringy about that. Like the posing of it. You know what I mean? It's just so performative that I don't love it. It's kind of like that. Every time I see that picture of Francis on that subway train, looking so humble, Francis the Humble, it's just so performative. It just feels creepy. It just feels creepy.
In any case, Frank Leo was born in Montreal.
Uh-oh. Am I hearing thunder and lightning?
And are you? Or is your internet going to cut out?
I don't know. Not sure. We're going to find out. I got to pull up the weather.
But he's 54. His motto is quodcumque dixerit facite.
Gesundheit.
Do whatever he says. He's got a great coat of arms. I was looking at this earlier, back right after the conclave.
So you're saying we got to wait till he gets there before we start?
No, I'm saying he after him.
After him.
He is going to succeed Leo the 14th. And then after him, we'll see the Pope who brings back the tiara and the sedia gestatoria.
Don't see it, pal.
Mm-hmm.
I wish. I want to believe, but I'm not seeing it.
Well, you might not see it because you don't eat sugar, but because I do, I will live to be 100, right. And I will see the third Pope coming that'll bring it back. So I will see it.
Right. Okay. Good luck with that one. By the way, good morning to you, Christine OFS. Good morning to you, Honeybee. You are on the team, and you guys are amazing. Douglas Ramikius, good morning to you. I really appreciate it. Memento says, or like Matt Gaspers said, a pope who is willing to become a martyr. Oh, yeah, at the end of the day, you need that, right? I feel in some ways like the pope's almost like a prison. I mean, he is basically a prisoner to the rest of us. And he's literally sacrificing everything to be in the service of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that might feel even more real being at the Vatican, surrounded by such a bureaucracy. I can imagine that would be incredibly overwhelming to most people. I think I would feel overwhelmed by all that. Honestly. I mean, what kind of personality would it take for someone to be able to stand up? You'd have to have such a strong... that's why Francis did what he did, because he was such a strong personality. You have to have a strong personality to wield that beast of a bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just in normal circumstances, let alone adding things like Lavender Mafia on top of it. Or just financial corruptions that we talked about yesterday with Rob Morrow. I mean, the human concupiscence element just makes it 10 times worse.
Well, and this is
Harmony Gordon.
This is why even a pope that, like, we were convinced that he's like not only personally pious, but, you know, a secret trad, you know, who's wanting to overturn all these money changer tables and all that stuff. Even a pope like that is going to know, you know, he's going to consider very carefully, if he's wise and prudent, which hills to die on. He's going to consider. He's going to consider very carefully
judgment.
What moves to make and when. So even if you got that pope who you knew, like, you know, I know from a personal friend of his that he, you know, loves the SSPX and wants to bring them back in. He loves the TLM and wants to restore this and wants to restore that. Even a pope that you personally were convinced of that, you would find yourself being like, well, when's he going to get to it? What's the deal? Like,
well, I said that. I said that about, like, Cardinal Mueller, for instance.
Yeah, exactly.
Or there's a lot of people, I would say, that are just exactly like that.
Yeah.
I think there are
like Bishop
also
Schneider.
exceptions.
If Bishop Schneider was elected pope, he would still be taking his time because he's like, I'm going to be up against it here. You know.
Hold on, let me push back on that one. I do agree that all men are going to try to have some prudential judgment and figure out which hills are the ones to die on and which ones aren't.
Yeah.
Schneider's no exception to that rule. I agree with you. But I also think that Bishop Schneider would push far faster in certain areas than most of his contemporaries. You know, I think he would definitely push far faster. I also don't think Bishop Schneider would tolerate what are clear errors. There might be some ambiguities that he might be patient with, but I don't think he would tolerate any error. What's like clear errors? We're not gonna pretend that all religions are equal. Sorry, that is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna pretend that the Pachamama thing in the Vatican garden was somehow okay. Nope, sorry, that's not. You know, and I could definitely see him rolling back Traditionis Custodes sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
and maybe some other things. But I agree. I think, you know, a wise, mature man. I mean, I have to do it in my own family. I got to figure out which battles are the ones, you know, worthy of death and the ones that aren't.
Yeah, and now your family is 8 billion people.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have the job. Frankly,
Right,
I'm just glad I don't have the job because I would suck at it. But I don't envy him in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But he did say yes. So even though I feel sorry for him, you said yes when they asked you. So it comes with the job. The criticisms, the backseat quarterbacking, all of it is part of the process, and I have to believe it sucks. But we do need you to do the job, and I'm pulling for him anyway. Yep. Penn State Dad, good morning, said, I still don't miss Francis. Neither do I. Sci-Fi, good morning to you. Praise be to God. 5/9 of 0 is still 0. What? I'm sorry, what? James 16897, 0 is the same as 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's cold. We would still call that cold. Maybe not Buffalo, but in Texas, we would call that cold. Len Pine, good morning to you. Gurguenza, he, Leo the 14th, settled the Judas in heaven or hell, right? I think there was a statement about that. I didn't read it or look into it, but I know it's been commented.
Yeah, it wasn't explicit, but there was some serious,
kind of like the Pachamama thing.
There was some serious
explicit.
implicit. Yeah, there was some serious implicitly in there.
It's like it's headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I do want to give him credit for that, right? It's something I think Kennedy Hall said maybe 3 weeks ago now. He put out a little video saying, listen, I don't follow every little thing the Pope does. I don't think about the Pope all that often. And then he goes, listen, so long as the Pope is trying to head in the right direction, he was trying, I'm paraphrasing his words. You should go look and listen to what he says exactly. But he basically says, so long as he's moving in the right direction, even slowly, he basically, is encouraging Leo to continue to head in the right direction.
To put it this way, this will be an analogy. This will be an analogy that our chats will absolutely understand. Picture one of the church as if one of those enormous Cadillac sedans from the 70s and 80s, and now picture trying to turn it in the right direction.
Are you kidding me? I drag raced my mom's Cadillac Eldorado, 84. Ginormous hood. That hood, the hood alone was bigger than my first apartment.
Picture the turnings, those cars that had the turning circle of the...
Please, come now, dude. You can do crazy maneuvers.
When you have the turning circle of the USS Nimitz, it takes a while to course correct.
No, I'm sorry.
I know this because my F-150 has about that turning circle.
Okay,
it takes a lot.
That's a different animal. That's a different animal, by the way, than the old land yachts. Okay, the land yachts, they were boaty and floaty. Yeah, they were awesome. But when you got up and if most of them
our
were
stream's down again. No,
what have you done? What have you done?
They couldn't handle the truth of what I was saying.
Couldn't handle the truth of you slamming land yachts? No, sorry.
Hey, who's slamming them? I love those things. I want one.
Criticizing the land yacht, making fun of it. Stop it.
This is fake. This is misrepresentation. I love the land yachts. I would absolutely love one.
Then don't be talking bad about their turn radius. Fantastic.
Who says it's bad?
I love the land yacht. I would love another one.
I would really love an old Cadillac.
Everything is dead. Are we up anywhere?
We are still up on Telegram. Somehow the Telegram group keeps working, but
Telegram is
alive. Stream One has been giving us some real issues today. It took me the better part of half the first segment to correct it when that went down.
I don't know why Jake hates the live stream, but clearly he loathes it, which is why he's killing it all the time. And or it's not his fault and it really is just some
I got to keep people on their toes,
switchboard thing.
Listen, people won't appreciate us unless we're hard to get sometimes.
But if he keeps talking crap about land yachts, we're going to have to think of another option here because this is unacceptable.
The slander.
Rebecca says, tried turning my dad's Suburban. That was a beat.
There you go.
There's nothing like a 4-point turn.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
I'm trying to stop the stream so I can restart it, and it's taking like 5 minutes just to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yesterday I went to go upload the clip of the Mea Culpa video, and YouTube. It took forever for YouTube to process that video, like way longer than normal. I'm not sure maybe there's an issue with just YouTube. Who knows? Jake, don't question Joe, says the traditional Thomist. Joe McClain is the leading expert in our time on the papacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Does not even need a degree, just humility. He's going to be on Thursday. He's here for Thursday, so that ought to be fun. We should just
Nick's degree is in
speak the Lord's language, and hopefully everybody will follow along.
Okay, it might be restarting finally.
Is it actually?
Maybe, I don't know. Let's okay.
Now you've crushed our
I've
audience.
reestablished the video feed to switchboard.
If you're at all,
and then we'll see what
nope,
happens.
We're not
Nope.
live on YouTube.
No, I'm saying we've reestablished the feed to switchboard, and now I have to try and start it to everywhere else.
Yeah, shortest after show ever, says Rob. People are texting me now. Yikes. Good times. Well, we probably just call it there. I guess it's not God's will that we should hang out in the after show today.
Let's see if this restarts here. We'll give it one last bash. People are still on Telegram, right? We've got 12 people watching on Telegram.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are you guys? Can you guys hear or see us on Telegram? I don't even know.
Yeah, the feed's still up. There are 12 people watching.
All right.
Hello, Telegrammers. All right, I'm giving it one shot here to see if it'll restart everywhere else.
I hop in my Chrysler. It sits about 20. So hurry up and bring your jukebox money. Rebecca says yes, she can hear us. I'm here, says Yvonne. Praise be to God.
We're back.
And we are vague and ambiguous. Are we back?
I think we're back. We're so back.
We're not. We're not back.
Hang on. We'll be able to be back. Have faith. We're definitely back on Rumble.
Rumbles. Are we on the same feed or a different feed on Rumble?
Rumble, thankfully, now this is one of the good points about Rumble is that it actually does stay on the same feed.
Rumble. Aloha, James. Aloha. James, are you in Hawaii? Liz Finch, Kelly Judson, good morning to you. I missed the land yachts. I do too, James. Nothing like a good old land yacht. What would you have, though, if you could buy a land yacht? What would it be? Would it be a caddy?
For me, it would have to be a Cadillac, because that's the classic
Lincoln?
one, you know? Maybe a Lincoln. Maybe a Lincoln. Then I could properly show up at the Italian parish.
What is the greatest land yacht ever? That's the question in my mind.
Let's find a list so we don't miss out.
There's got to be a list of the greatest of all land yachts. Now that we've totally been distracted from the conversation, which is your fault because you were slamming land yachts. You were maligning them. I
will let the record speak in my defense. People can rewind the previous of the 4 different YouTube streams we've had today.
76 Sedan DeVille. Do you think that's the greatest of all? The Eldorado. Thank you, Yvonne. There's at least one person with some obvious comments.
Here we go. From hotcars.com. 8 classic American luxury land yachts you can still buy for cheap. But this is like 4 years ago, so probably not.
Yeah.
Cadillac Eldorado, 9th generation.
Thank you. The Eldorado.
Buick Riviera, 3rd generation.
The Riviera.
That's a good-looking car.
Yeah.
Buick Electra or Electra 225.
Put the link. Are there pictures to these things?
No. Yeah.
Or is it just text?
Well, there's pictures, but I have to open it up on a different computer and set up.
If you send it to me, I can throw it up.
Here we go. It is now in the chat. Are we back? We're back on YouTube. There we are.
Are we back on the YouTube?
We're back.
Hey.
We're back everywhere. We're so back.
And we're so back. And we're talking about cars.
The traditional Thomist can white pill now. I see. I knew. All you have to do is give it the analogy that the chat will understand.
Yeah. Well,
it's just like when you're describing something to American. Picture a burger, and now it's the best way to explain it.
Well, sorry about the tech problems. We plan to have somebody fired over it. We just don't know who yet.
Yeah.
But we're glad to have you guys back. Did you catch Glenn Beck's talk on Soros is growing broke? It was so good. Made your day. That's now who am I going to say? Now I'm going to have to say if I had Elon Musk's money, I guess. Because if I don't have Soros to pretend to have his money, then who's left? Who's the evil villain of the world? His son is the answer, but Alex, his son Alex. Who was the visionary, the seer who said that the Antichrist name would go by Alex? Who was it? I forget. That came out last year or something like that. I don't know. Hey, Polachicho, mi amigo, 2004 Scion XA is not a land yacht, my friend. What are you doing? A Scion? It's a Toyota, first of all. Second of all, it's a Matchbox. It's not a land yacht. We're talking land yachts today.
This is great. Motoringresearch.com, the biggest and most flamboyant American cars. That is what we want.
Okay, hold on. I do. You want to go with that one instead of the one you sent me?
I don't know. This one actually has the longest ones. So
the longest of ones. All right, I'm going to put my screen on. Internet, you got to figure out how to put all the cameras on as well. All right, the biggest and most flamboyant. I don't like that word flamboyant, though, Jake. That's a little too gay for me.
Flamboyant is a great word that has been
ruined.
It's a gay
word. It's a gay word. Red flags.
Gay is another great word that's been ruined.
Oh, stop. Okay, come now.
This is all these words are just attempts to
next. You're
stop using
going to
the
tell me
proper
we
words.
got to get the rainbow flag back or something. I don't know what you're going to say next, but the 63 Dodge Custom 880. It's a nice looking car.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool looking car. You can imagine that a car like that, the door handle, like the clicking of the handle, is going to feel so satisfactory. It's going to feel so good. It's going to be so precise and machine like. Look at that. The 75 Dodge Charger. That thing is a Charger. There's no way that's a Charger. That's not a Charger.
In 75, that was a Charger. Apparently, isn't that crazy?
That's a crazy looking. Yeah. That's not. I don't even like it, to be honest with you. It's not my fave.
Yeah.
70 Ford LTD. Now this thing. Look how wide. Look how massive. Just you could live in the trunk, sleep in the back seat. I mean, just so cool. Oh, okay, now you were right. The 71 Buick Riviera. That's a nice looking
Isn't that
car.
a nice looking car?
That's a nice looking
car. That looks like it's a frog about to leap across a chasm. The way that fender's smoothed over like that, that's amazing. It's so good.
Oh, man. Now, the problem with these old yachts is that they're way underpowered because of emission issues. So through the 70s, they just robbed the power out of these big V8 engines. V8, but not a lot of power. So they do need an LS engine swap, okay? And then you're probably going to want to update your suspension and your braking system so that if you're going to go 150 mile an hour in a land yacht that's steel and weighs 8,000 plus pounds, you can also stop it quickly. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you do the LS engine swap plus the brake swap so that you can stop, right? And get better tires. Obviously, you're going to need good tires. But man, could you imagine that Riviera with like a little hot rod kit going on? Like that would be so nice. The 69 Dodge Polara. That's not the most favorable shot angle of this car. I feel like I would like this car better if they did a profile of it instead of
it still looks nice, but it's
still not a bad looking car. Oh, look at this 59 Chrysler New Yorker Town and Country. It's cool. It's cool, but it's not the Riviera.
It's not my favorite wagon.
It's not the Riviera. Now, this is ugly. 89 Plymouth Grand Fury. Fury? Why do we include the word Fury in this? There's no Fury in this car, okay? There's zero Fury.
It says police chiefs love them, and I can see that.
I'm sorry, Policicho, but this is a donut getter, okay? This is all this is, all right, my friend? It's not cool, okay? 73 Chevy Impala Custom Coupe. I like the coupe because there's like one door. That makes it a coupe. But that door is bigger than like my house, okay? That door is massive. Look at that thing. Look how huge that is.
Nice.
Oh, man. The Cadillac Eldorado. Now, this is classy. This is the gangster's car. This is the mob car right here. The Cadillac Eldorado.
Yep.
76.
Classic.
Look at that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. And like, what was the? Hold on. What was the Smokey and the Bandit? Was that an Eldorado?
No, it was a Pontiac, wasn't it? Wasn't it
a Pontiac?
Wasn't it the Trans Am or the Grand Am? I forget which one it was.
No, not not Burt Reynolds' car.
Oh, the
sheriff's
car.
The
sheriff's car. It might have been an Eldorado actually. Let me look that up.
76 Ford Thunderbird. That's a nice looking car. Not as stylish as the Riviera, but still a very nice looking car. The Ford Thunderbird.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of red cars, but that kind of looks nice.
I was still right. He had a Pontiac Le Mans or Le Mans.
Le Mans.
He probably called it a Le Mans, but yeah, the Le Mans.
77 Dodge Royal Monaco.
1977 Pontiac Le Mans. That's great.
This Monaco looks more like a poor man trying to be rich kind of a thing, or like not quite a real rich man, like a well-to-do but not wealthy kind of a car. I don't know. The 78 Ford Country Squire. Now, the Country Squire lived on through, I want to say, the 90s or early 2000s. And those later models actually are considered to be very good cars, very good runners.
And they just look great.
I think I like the newer, the whatever the latest versions were, better than I like this. But look at that thing. Man, so much room. Oh, look at this Buick Electra. Now that's a nice looking car. Look at that sweeping line. That is so nice, isn't it? Huge trunk. Look how big that trunk is. How many bodies can you fit in the back of that thing? Good grief. This is the mobster car. Look at that. Massive. Lincoln Continental Mark IV. The Matthew McConaughey car.
Yep.
This is a 72 version of it, though. Oh, look, it's got the flipped headlights.
I love those.
The covers.
I am a sucker for any car that has flipped headlights, or especially the pop-up ones. Like,
sure.
I don't even care what model it is, as long as it has those. I'm a sucker for it.
The 70 Imperial Crown.
That's a classy car.
That is a classy car. 4 doors. Wow. Man, oh man. The Cadillac Coupe de Ville, 75. Not as cool as the Eldorado, in my opinion. But I do like, it's got the half wheel thing. How annoying was that when you had to take that piece off before you could change your flat tire? That's pretty annoying, but cool looking anyway. Chrysler New Yorker, how do I say that? Brougham?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Brougham.
How would they pronounce it?
How would they pronounce it? This is a car that doesn't know what it is. Look at the rims. It's got the weird low end rims on it.
Mm-hmm.
Covered headlights, half back wheel, weird angle. I don't know that this car knows what it is. It gets confused. It's just confused. Is it a upper class car? Upper middle class car? Is it? I mean, those cheap rims on it really like don't match, in my opinion. The 74 Oldsmobile 98 LS. This is a mortician's car. Look at that thing. Look at this thing. This is the evil villain's car.
Right. That's pretty great.
Look, it's just so obnoxiously big. It's trunk.
You can fit 2 bodies in there.
It's so obnoxious that
you can probably put the coffin in there, honestly.
This is like I almost think that this reminds me of the Addams Family. I expect to see like a hot rod, blower motor sticking out the top of the hood there, or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Ooh, the Lincoln Continental Mark V 79 edition.
I think I've seen almost that exact same car in the parking lot at St. Anthony's.
How much would this sell for back in the day? You figure 4,000 or 5,000 maybe?
It said they had a collector series edition, which was promoted by Tom Selleck. Gold-toned grille inserts, a crystal-like hood ornament, and acres of padded vinyl.
Man. The Buick Electra 75. This is just a practical car.
Yeah.
It's just,
a nice practical 233.7 inches long.
Right. Grocery getter.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you needed to like haul lumber, you could do that too.
You would need groceries for the entire summer. Yeah, you can go. Right. You can fit those in the trunk.
Exactly.
In the back
100%. Oh, look at this Imperial LeBaron.
The Imperial LeBaron is pretty great.
I said LeBron. Was that a Freudian slip? LeBaron is what I meant to say.
That is a great front end.
Not LeBron.
That's a really cool looking front end.
That is very stylish, isn't it? Very stylish.
One of the longest post-war American production cars.
Hood ornament. There's no hood ornament on that. I mean, there's an emblem, but there's not a sticking up hood ornament there. Very slick, very stylish. Like almost, where are the headlights? Is just this the headlight?
I think it's those vertical ones, yeah.
Oh, right here. No, I'm seeing it right here. There's There's a cutout. You can't see my mouse.
Oh, I can kind of see. I've got the article.
Yeah, like right there, I think is where it's hiding the headlamp. That's pretty cool. Look at that. It's nice. I don't know that I like the canary yellow thing, but
I like that color. That's a very 1973 color.
I don't know.
I dig it.
What's this other one say? We've lost the audience. They're like, what are we talking about? We're talking about
well, we already did because this is the one to have this conversation on because we already lost everyone from the
everyone
crashing.
Every Cadillac Eldorado, 9th generation. That is a nice, stylish car. Wouldn't be the one I'd buy, but it is a nice, stylish car. I like this vents. The vents right here on that rear haunch. That's quite nice. I like that. Yeah, look at that. It's nice. It's nice looking. Oh, but that Riviera. I think we have to agree the Riviera so far is probably the king.
It's probably the best.
As far as style.
I think it's the best looking, yeah.
It's a nice looking car. Even if look at the front end. I mean, even at this angle, it's a really nice looking car. Like, look at that.
Yep.
There's
something about that
something, yeah.
design. It's just great.
Now I want to go buy one.
Right.
73 Buick Riviera. What do you think one costs? Well, we got to Google that. What would it cost? The Electra, that's what we were just looking at a minute ago, except for this is an older one because it's got headlamps are visible. Okay, what is this one? What? How come they're not naming that one?
Those are the same.
Is that the same
it's
car?
The third,
just one's
it's the third and fourth generation of the Buick Electra. So there's the Buick Electra, and then the one below it is the Electra 225.
The Electra 225. Lincoln Continental. This is also a great car.
Yep.
Very stylish. I like the rims. I like the rims on that.
I like those circular windows in the back, those oval windows.
Yeah. The same car, just different. It's a different car, but same. Different, same model, different car. Oh, it's got the little fake. Is that the little fake haunch in the back for a spare tire?
Oh, could be.
Interesting. A little nod back to the earliest days of coaches. I don't love the color, but I like the fact that the hood goes like it angles down in the front, like narrows in the front a little bit. I like that. That's kind of cool. Cool look. Oldsmobile Tornado.
Replace the Starfire.
I could see this being a cooler car if you were to give it better rims, nicer wheels, a different color. I could see this being an interesting car. It's got the pop-up headlamps, so it's still pretty slick up front, but I don't know. I don't love it as much as the Riviera.
It's interesting. All their choices coupes on this list. I think it is.
Oldsmobile 98. I like the fact that they took a picture of this car in the country on a dirt road because this is probably the mob trying to get out to the country to bury the evidence.
It's also a very brown car.
It's such a brown car.
Right. You don't see a lot of brown cars nowadays.
Speaking of the mob, there you go, folks. There you go.
Yep.
The Pontiac Grand Prix. Okay. Second generation. Oh, man, look at those. Look at that. 4 headlamps. Still couldn't see anything with them. That's a nice look. From this angle, that is a nice look. I could see this being souped up hot rod style.
Definitely.
Get a scoop up on the front hood there. Get a little, get a tail wing back there. Man, do an LS swap on that thing. That'd be a nice looking car. The AMC Rambler. That'd be a good sleeper car, wouldn't it? Oh, look at the back of
cool
that.
Look, huh? I think my mom had a Rambler at one point.
Oh, that's it. Well, there you go, folks. So what did we learn? What did we learn?
Not much.
The Riviera would, in fact, be the nicest looking car, but we can't let it win because we have a bias towards the Cadillac Eldorado. But if we were being non-biased, I think we would say the Riviera because look at it. It's just a nice looking car. Although I think the red one looks better than this one. I don't know what else to say. There you go, folks. We've totally blown the after show today. And
it's not our fault.
We're going to say goodbye. Yeah, we're probably going to sign off today, too. I don't know what else. But there was one other thing in the news that all the youngins wanted to talk about, apparently. When that was new words in the dictionary.
Oh, is that the slang one? I forgot about that, actually.
What is skibbity?
Skibbity.
Skibbity is apparently being added to the Cambridge Dictionary.
They have the pronunciation in there, I think.
Skibbity.
Skibbity.
What does it mean?
Anything.
What does skibbity mean?
Skibbity, pronounced skibbity, is one of the slang terms popularized by social media that are among the more than 6,000 additions this year to the Cambridge Dictionary. And it's a gibberish term that can mean cool or bad or be used with no real meaning as a joke.
Skibbity.
Tradwife is now in the dictionary.
Tradwife is in the dictionary.
I want to see a list of their all the different editions.
The tradwife is in the dictionary. That's hilarious.
Where is the link to that? They
don't
have
tell
a link
my
to
wife.
the actual.
That's funny.
Come on.
Skibbity. Doesn't it give you hope in the next generation?
Nope.
In our future that they use the word skibbity?
Nope.
Not a good sign. Bashaw, good morning to you. Love this review of American muscle cars. There's some nice looking cars in there. Doesn't it make you want to go buy a muscle car right now? Like buy an old school yacht and just, do an LS swap in it and just take her out for a cruise. I mean, man, oh man, it'd be so awesome, wouldn't it? Be amazing. What looks like a Charger, Susie? I don't. The one Charger that was listed does not look like a Charger. I can't even believe they included that in the list, to be honest with you. Is it true the Resurrection movie is being split into 2 movies? Well, that's the rumor right now. And that
no, it was officially announced, wasn't it?
That's what I was going to say. That rumor was coming directly from Mel Gibson's Icon company.
Did I ruin your joke? I'm sorry.
You did. Thank you, though. Yeah, they're going to split it up into 2, which is interesting, isn't it? It gives me more hope for the project than the way Mel had previously explained it. Like, I wasn't getting his vision for what he was going to do with it. I just felt like it was going to be some sort of surreal, Jesus preaching to the dead thing. And I'm like, you're going to lose an audience that way. Like, I don't understand. What they want to see is the resurrection, and they want to see what happens after. Like, right, the next 50 days. And it sounds to me like with the split up, that's probably what's on the agenda. So that's kind of cool. I like that. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. But he's still keeping us in a cloud of mystery, so we'll find out.
Yeah, he keeps talking about, like, I want to have, like, angels and demons warring in heaven for, like, 4 hours or something like that.
I mean, this sounds like the Clash of the Titans. What are we talking about, The question is, are they going to de-age Jim Caviezel with like computers? Are they going to de-age him like they did with The Irishman? I don't know.
Good question.
No pressure on poor Jim Caviezel, right? To have to like remember how he walked and acted 20 years ago. Chesty says, Joe, if you ever find yourself with too much money, you could buy me a 64 Ford Thunderbolt. Only 100 made. Too fast for NASCAR. So much muscle. Wow. If I ever found myself with too much money, I guess I could put that on the list. The 64 Thunderbolt. I'm going to go look it up right now. 64 Thunderbolt. Let's just see. Images. Oh, yeah, okay. That's a little scrappy looking car, isn't it?
Factory built lightweight drag racing version of the Ford Fairlane? Cool.
Yeah. Scrappy car. It's a small car. It's a tiny car, really, compared to everything we were just looking at. This car could probably fit in the trunks of the other cars we were just looking at.
Yeah.
But it looks like a lot of people do race them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got it, buddy. Chesty, if I inherit George Soros' money, And be assured I'll buy you that 64 Thunderbolt just because you asked, pal. Just because you asked. Could you imagine? I don't know. That's the problem with the thing about money is I don't actually want all that money because it would ruin me probably. When the gospel today was, rich people can't inherit the kingdom of heaven for the love of money, right? Those who have love of money. Think about how tempting it would be to have access to be a steward of such great resource like that. The temptation has to be horrible, which is why, God probably calls very few people, a select number of individuals to be stewards of that level of resources and giving them the graces they need to be able to be good stewards of it. I would say that most people who get access to that level of resource probably aren't good stewards of it. But there are a few that are. I know a couple that gave basically their entire livelihood away. I mean, it's just there are people who have access to big resources, but they do amazing things with it. And there are some that most, I would say, that have access to resources and they do dumb things with their money. They don't leverage it for the glory of God. My thing is, if I had that level of access, if I had George Soros' money, my issue is I would want mostly to leverage the resources for the work of evangelization versus doing things like building a hospital, an orphanage. And I'm not saying those are bad things. I'm glad that those things are being done and that people are supporting those causes. And I may support them in small ways as well. But I would say I want a George Soros on our team. I want to be as sneaky and contriving as George Soros is for the bad. I want to be that for the good, if that makes any sense. That's kind of how I would see it. But like winning the lottery, I almost don't want to win the lottery because I think it would ruin me. What would I do with it? I'd go out and buy an 84 Cadillac Eldorado and I'd do an LS swap on it. What good would that do? Nothing. Yeah, it'd be fun to ride in. I'd almost prefer you own the car and just give me a ride on occasion. That'd be better. Because if I owned it, that would be just like be me spending money on something that's not necessary. It's like the next thing you know, I'd buy a new Tahoe or something. I'm like, what's wrong with a 20-year-old one? Just keep it running. It's fine. I'd probably end up buying a Ford Raptor, if I'm being frank.
Exactly.
Because, a desert running racing truck is necessary. It's totally necessary. If you're like going to go get groceries or something, you got to have that. Like, why wouldn't you have that? Or worse, I'd probably buy a Benelli shotgun, a tactical shotgun, because mine doesn't work as good somehow. I don't know. Or an over-under, beautiful, Turkish shotgun, carved. Ooh,
yeah.
Nothing. There's nothing like smashing clay pigeons out of the sky with your multi-$1,000 beautiful artwork of a shotgun, right?
Joe is such a wasp.
They'd probably rip me off and give me a Chinese one too. So. Honeybee says my dad had a '57 Chevy when they were new. Too bad he didn't keep it. I know. Could you imagine? Joe does not need money. Money needs Joe. Oh man, are you kidding me? If I had George Soros' money, think about how many awesome opportunities we'd have. Yesterday, I was watching Michael Knowles. I was being very jealous of Michael Knowles yesterday. Michael Knowles, remarkably, Michael Knowles has done a special over at the Daily Wire of all places. At the Daily Wire, he did a special on Pope Pius XII, debunking the myths that he was Hitler's Pope. I'm like, wait, doesn't he work for Jews? I'm like, how did he pull that off? Like, that's just amazing. Mm-hmm. Because the facts are what they are. And if people pay attention to the facts, we'll let the truth lead you to where it does. But I'm very jealous because I would absolutely want to make documentary films at the highest possible quality level on subjects like that. Oh, man, I'm so jealous. Jesse says, well, over $1 million at auction to be sure, probably more like $2 million for that car. Are you out your mind, Chesty? Can you imagine what we could do with $2 million other than a 64 Thunderbolt? Well, okay, how about this? I'll make you a deal. We buy the car. We take her for a drag race, and then we sell the car, and we do good with the money. Would that work? You would get the chance to drive it. You'd have your moment. You could just sit in that car for like 24 hours and just take it in. Take her for a spin. Go down the drag race. But then we auction it off, which means you can't actually drive it to its full max potential because I don't want to wreck it, because then it wouldn't be worth anything.
Then it's not worth it. Don't even drive it.
No, it would be worth it.
Just sell it as an object.
Accept what you can take as, just be happy for what you got. And then, Joe, thoughts on the movie Zero AD movie coming out? Jim Caviezel plays Herod in that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know all that much about it yet, so I'd have to look more into it to see if it's going to be any good. But it's an Angel Studio thing, which, you guys know my opinion of the Angel Studio thing. I'm glad they're doing it, but it could be better if it were Catholic, right? So I wonder just how amazing it will be. It'll probably be entertaining, but maybe not amazing. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough. But God bless you all. God love you all. No speeding, Joe, says Susie. No speeding. You hear that, Chesty? No speeding in your Thunderbolt $2 million race car. God love you. God bless you. See you tomorrow.